All right, welcome back to the show. As a parent, I can't imagine if your child is diagnosed with a disease. And diabetes, we think of something that can be managed through food, through insulin, but of course, sometimes it's not always that fortunate outcome for them.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, when diabetes affects somebody to the point where they lose their life, you often think it would be somebody in their more senior years. But one young man wasn't so lucky, and his family now remembering him along with some friends of his. Bridget Ryan tells his story.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, friends. We are going to, for the rest of the morning, talk about an event that is happening September 27th. It is the Juvenile Diabetes Walk for the Cure. It's happening in the Leduc area, and we'll give you all the information at the end of the segment. But to put a focus on the walk, to put focus on diabetes, to put a face to what it is that we're finding a cure for, is this very special and most incredible project that's happening at the U of A, specifically the Enterprise Square area, our new neighbors. And this gentleman, Val, to tell us about one gentleman who seemingly touched the hearts of many people who battled with diabetes. And first of all, Val, welcome to Breakfast Television.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. His name was Chad. Chad was one of our IT guys. And he was particularly related to the laboratory area, so a lot of work with the students, but he also did desktop service for the staff. And he was just this wonderful guy, about 25 years old, who, whatever you asked him, he would do it. He didn't matter what it was. If it was difficult, didn't matter, he would just do it. And so he was this guy who was always there for everybody. And so he died 2 years ago from juvenile diabetes. He'd had a couple of actually very close calls while he was with us. And then he died about 2 years ago. So we at the faculty decided we needed to remember Chad on behalf of not just ourselves, but the students that attend here and the kinds of things that we like to see happen with our staff and student relationships. And he was sort of the epitome of that.
He embodied everything good about a person. And it's funny too, like I suffer from asthma. I think diabetes, asthma are two diseases that we think, oh, people don't die from them anymore. And, you know, there's this huge misnomer that we're just sort of, you know, we're just living with it. But then when you hear of this and you hear of such an incredible story of a person who made such an impact on so many people, and it was juvenile diabetes, that, it's shocking on so many levels. At first, when I read this, I thought, really? It was diabetes? And so everybody's now walking around wanting to do something because it's something that we hadn't thought of before.
It's true, and as a result, Chad's family has always been big in the diabetes walks, but his sister Jody, whom you will meet later, has been very active since Chad's death in organizing even more and more people to go on the Leduc-Wetaskiwin walk for the cure. And his friends are legion. He has a long list of friends, and they all get their friends, and it's become quite a thing. And our staff a lot of our staff participate too. I mean, anybody who has a chance signs up. I won't be there for this one this year, but I'm contributing by sponsoring one of our staff who's going to be there as well. So.
All right, let's talk about, you guys are even taking it probably the next step up, though. You're creating something most impressive in his honor and his memory.
Yes, we are. We have commissioned a painting, and again, we're using one of our staff, our portrait painter, Isabella, and two of her students, actually. One of them is with us today, but two of her students worked on this with her. So it is a staff-student collaboration for this portrait, and it's kind of talks about Chad's life. It's not just his picture. It's not just painting his picture. We've talked about his life with this portrait, which Isabella can tell you about in a few minutes. But it's really going to be something that when it hangs in the student lounge here, which again is the reason for that, of course, is all of his service to the students. It'll be something to see.
That is so blazingly cool. I mean, it's incredible that what you're doing, because it's such a testament to his character, to you as a staff community, to getting the message out that juvenile diabetes is something that takes away good people, and we must continue to fight to find that cure. This is remarkable. We're going to talk to Isabella, who had the task of creating what you see behind us coming up in the next segment, and of course the family, their reaction to something like this, and more information about the walk. You must get involved in something like this, and this is a beautiful piece. We're going to find out how it all came together right after this.
Going to go out now. Bridget has been interviewing some wonderful people. Of course, remembering Chad, who passed away due to juvenile diabetes, and there is a special way that he is being remembered.
Thank you very much, friends. So we're continuing our, how shall we say, celebration of a life that was lived extremely well and way too short. Of one kid who really is seemingly a kid, 25 years old. He passed away from juvenile diabetes. Chad Goodbrand, and here he is, being his life, his love, his passions, all represented on this assemblage right behind me, and it is an effort on the U of A here at Enterprise Square. He worked here, and the staff came together and said, what can we do to continue this spirit, to make people aware of his battle, of his life, of his generosity, of his spirit? And this is the effort that they've come up with, and it's remarkable to stand here. I feel like I knew the man, and the woman that basically is introducing us, if you will, is this lovely lady, an artist here at the U of A. She's one of the teachers. And Isabella, lovely to see you again.
Hi, nice to see you again too.
You have a student that has helped you with this project.
That's right. Actually, the only one of two. There are two students involved with me in work on this particular piece. One of them is Vincent Roper.
Hello, Vincent.
Hello.
Welcome to Breakfast Television.
Thank you.
And unfortunately, the other student, Loretta Porkrin, is not here. She's right now in Vancouver Island. But she was with the FOS with us. Yes.
A shout out to Laura. Let's talk about the incredible task that was put upon you to take a life and put it on sometimes on canvas, sometimes right on the wall, sometimes in print. It's a multimedia display almost that really pops out at you, and you call it an assemblage of Chad Goodbrand. So talk about sort of the different aspects of his life represented here.
Well, first of all, we had to sit down and think about it, in which way we will represent the life of Chad. And going through the brainwashing, we decided that we just simply can't paint his portrait in the traditional way. Yes, that could be as a one part of the whole assemblage. Otherwise, we wanted to represent his life the way how the life is. It's complicated. It goes on many facets, different facets of different events which happen in our lives. And so is it with Chad's assemblage. We had to just decide which pieces were the prominent ones in his life. And one of them, which creates the backdrop for the whole assemblage, is the road. It's the landscape image of Alberta. We wanted to represent the place where he comes from our province, and also his love of the nature. So that's why, we have the image of the mountains and the lake. It's just for the free-spirited person, the way how he was.
And then there's a yellow car that seems to be traveling on the road. Now, did he drive a yellow car?
Yes, he did, and that was his another passion and love, because he could do it. Yes. And this way he could really feel not restrained.
Talk about the Keith Urban up there.
Keith Urban. Well, he was his passion for the country music, and what we've done here, and that was the work and the idea of Vincent, who presented here the portrait of Keith Urban, and then many tickets to different various country music concerts to show his love, his passion for country music, and then that he really wanted to be a part of it. Okay.
And then over here we have perhaps these two, which make me feel so aware of the love that this man felt in his life. These two, they feel like montages.
That's right, there's montages, and what we have at the top one represents his friends and the people who loved him and the people who he loved. On the top of the piece, it's his shirt, or the shirt which was done in memory of his, walking in the memory of Chad Goodbrand. All his friends who participated in it got this shirt, and one of them shared it with us. Now we have the images of people important in his life, as well as the signatures of them. The images here, for example, this is the man. He was the best man on the wedding of his friend, who later made the tattoo on his lower arm, and which now, as a photographic collage, will represent the title of the whole piece: Chad, the best friend, best man.
Oh, what a beautiful way to end our time talking about Chad with you. You've done an amazing job, Isabella, in capturing a life. I just want to...
Not only me, Vincent
and Loretta. And big shout out in Vancouver or the West Coast. But you guys have done a tremendous job. It really feels like you know the man. And the best thing about this is it's going to be forever placed in the walls in the Students' Lounge here at the Enterprise Square on the second floor. So very wonderful, so very cool. And of course, it's raising awareness about the lives that can be taken away from us all too short by juvenile diabetes. And what we can do to help is join the walk. And you know you're going to get the information from me right after this. So stick around, my friend. We're not done here yet.
Bridget Ryan's going to wrap up the story remembering Chad, that touching story of the gentleman who lost his life to juvenile diabetes and the way that he's being remembered. Here's the wrap.
So we are here at the University of Alberta now, back at the Enterprise Square, up on the second level in the Students' Lounge area. As you can see, there's a few more people that have joined. It's about a week later now. And just to give you a sense of the timeline, the piece of art, the piece of beautiful homage, if you will, to a life well lived is up on the wall now, and surrounding the room are friends and, most importantly, close family and friends. And we are so very, very honored here on Breakfast Television to have Chad's family standing by, and I want to introduce each and every one of them. You are?
I'm Jody, Chad's sister.
Excellent. And back there you are?
Chad's sister Tammy.
And who's this?
This is his nephew Archer.
Archer. Nice to see you. Great name. And you are?
Diane, Chad's mom.
And Brian, Chad's dad.
Excellent. Thank you all so much for talking to us here on Breakfast Television. I'm going to start with you. When you heard that they were doing this, what was your reaction?
We really didn't know the magnitude and the size of the project until we had a meeting with Isabella, the painter of the mural, in January, and that's when they brought us up here to this space and told us it was 8 feet by 10 feet. I imagined a portrait of him in their new space, a plaque maybe with his picture. I never expected this, never.
I think when you see the size of it, the first thing I thought was, man, he affected a lot of people in his short life.
He did, and that's a consensus through, I think, all the people that are with us today, is that he really made an impact and really touched people that he met or worked with. Yeah, he was obviously a special guy.
It's funny when I'll ask you two this if this is okay, just as the mom and the dad, you must, obviously our deepest regrets for the loss of his life, but what a life well lived in terms of what he had to battle against every day.
Yes, it's juvenile diabetes is not an easy thing to battle.
Mm-hmm. So I certainly don't want his death in vain, or just to leave it at the monument, because there is a battle that ongoing for diabetes. Right. And are you all still very involved with diabetic fundraising and things like that?
We are actually. We're doing a walk in Wetaskiwin, and TELUS is the national sponsor. It's this weekend on Sunday, September 28th. The registration for the walk is at 1 o'clock. The walk actually starts at 2. It's by the Park Lake in Wetaskiwin. And we hope to raise a pile of money for diabetic research so that the kids don't have to suffer and needle poke and measure and weigh food. They can just be kids.
You obviously knew him better than anybody else, the four of you, and perhaps even Archer, you probably knew the most. I think you knew the two of you probably had a strong connection in your short life together. But what did you think he would make of this? I want to leave our viewers with a happy sense, not a sad sense. I want them to know that he was so well loved and so well respected that people have gone to this means.
Chad never wanted to be the center of attention. I'm sure he would be touched by the actual mural and everything that's been created on his behalf.
Yeah. He loved his country music, he loved his car, and he loved the highway. And I think you guys, and let me get this, I want to set this up for our viewers, you have not seen what it is you're about to see.
We, when we met with Isabel in January, we just discussed and went through a memory book that we've put together as a family, just of Chad's things, little emails, letters, things that we found when we were cleaning things up, and put them all together. And from there, Isabella was the one that made the decisions.
She's amazing. What they've done is amazing. I'm going to let the unveiling begin, and I know you all feel very probably anxious. Again, I'm so sorry for your loss, but congratulations on knowing a man that everybody, and raising a boy, a son that everybody celebrates. And what a beautiful family. And his legacy lives on, my friends. And check this out.
Isabella, would you just talk a little bit about why this happened and why?
Well, we saw the unveiling down at the U of A, remembering Chad, that moving mural, and now Bridget brings us the reaction and the response. Here she is.
All right, we are wrapping things up here at the University of Alberta Enterprise Square. This is the Faculty of Extension. The student lounge has really been transformed into a celebration of life at this moment. And we've been talking all morning long about Chad and sharing this amazing story as it unfolded. Obviously lost his life way too early, a battle against diabetes. This gentleman was perhaps one of the closest people to Chad. And you are?
I'm Dan Jackson. Chad was the best man at my wedding, and I was his best friend. So,
awesome. And if I can talk to you about Chad first and foremost, how long have you two been friends? Give us a little backstory on you and Chad.
we met in grade 7 in junior high. And we kind of met because we both are huge country music fans, and that kind of brought us together. And so I guess we knew each other for over half our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So
you probably more than anybody, as a friend then, grew up with somebody who was living with diabetes, the constant sort of, insulin goings-on.
Oh yeah, and there was times, I'd do a sleepover at his place or be at my place, and gotta check the blood, gotta give myself a needle and that type of thing. But for me, I don't remember the diabetes so much because Chad never complained about it. Like, he never, oh God, I got to do another needle. No, he just did his thing, and that was the end of it. You never heard him complain about anything.
It's funny, were you surprised by the number of people in this room or the size of the monument behind you? And I call it a monument because that's the one thing it's huge. It's unavoidable.
Yeah, it's massive, and I am and I'm not. Like, for me, it's not big enough to cover his whole scope of his life, but for what size they had, they covered it beautifully. It was perfect. And I'm not surprised at the turnout because of how good of a friend Chad was to everybody. Every person he met, he touched their life in some way.
Yeah. So obviously he touched yours probably in the greatest because he was the best man at your wedding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny. He was just terrified to do the speech, and he got lost his place in it. It was so funny. He's standing at the microphone going, as he's shuffling through the papers trying to find his place. So we all had a good laugh about that because he was just terrified he was going to do that.
He wasn't much of a public speaker.
No, he was more of a behind-the-scenes kind of guy, and I always...
Exactly what his sister said earlier. She said he would have been like aghast at being the center of attention.
Exactly. It was so funny when I asked him to be my best man. It was actually over the phone, and I'm like, Chad, what do you think about coming to my wedding and dancing with a pretty girl? He's like, why? I said, well, I need a best man, and it took him a second to click that I'd asked him to be my best man, but he was really happy to do it. So, and I was excited, and after the wedding was over, it was all great, and I figured, well, one day I'll be doing one of these speeches, but it wasn't the speech I wanted to do a month later when I had to. But.
Yeah. And so it's been 2 years now, and obviously seeing something like this, I know I wanted to talk to his sister, and I'm sorry for talking to you after I talked to his sister before,
no, that's okay.
But it obviously, when you see this, it must conjure up just about everything that you remember about him.
It does. Like, it just, from the time I met him to the phone call I got from his sister about what happened, because my wife and I were out of town the weekend it happened. He was actually taking care of our cat, and he'd been out at his mom and dad's place the night he passed, and then he had to go home to take care of our cat, and then he went home, and at that point it happened. But he was just that type of person.
Yeah.
He'd take care of your cat. When my wife and I were moving to Edmonton, we weren't going to make it in time to get our apartment, so Chad went and paid our first month's rent for us so we could get the keys so we could move in that night. I mean, we paid him back, but that was just what he did. Without even me asking him, he said, I'll just go pay your rent so you can get your keys.
It's like, even though he's not with us anymore, he is, in the sense that he has set the bar for human behavior and being human and caring for each other.
Exactly. Like, Chad made sure to care about everyone in his life. And it's so hard to do that, but he made sure he took time to care about everybody.
I have to share with our viewers before we leave you the awesome tattoo that you have on your forearm. This perhaps is the greatest testament. He's with you forever now, no matter, and this was sort of your statement saying, he is with me, he's with me right now.
Yeah, and I said in the eulogy, he was my best friend and my best man. And that's the truth. It really is the truth. He was my best friend, he is my best man, he'll be with me forever.
Quite literally, if you will, we'll reveal the awesome tattoo, and that is with you, my friend, for the rest of your life. Thank you so much for talking with us and giving us even a little bit more insight to this amazing man.
Well, he was an amazing man. I'm so glad something like this was done to showcase his life, and I'm so glad people were here to see it.
Absolutely, and of course this is all to support the walk that's happening this Sunday, and just ongoing though, that juvenile diabetes can take people far too early. Do what you can to help. Thank you so much.
Thank you.